All right, let's talk today's. Just kidding. That's so unladylike. My mom would be so upset. Okay, for real. Let's be serious. Let's talk breast augmentations. If you're here, you want to know more about where I'm at with my breast augmentation journey. Clearly, not anywhere far, but I am 5 days out, so I will be somewhere soon, and I want to talk to you guys about why I'm choosing to do this, how I chose my surgeon, and a couple of things that I learned so far up until this point that I think is pretty useful information and I want to share with you guys. So if you're here, thank you for being here, and please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm really excited to start a YouTube channel, and I think it'll be a nice place to get more in depth with things that just kind of are like too much on Instagram, and kind of just have like a separate platform for, I think, like more personal things and vlogs and such. So please follow along. Let's get into the titty talk, right? So why, not that I feel I need to explain to anyone why I want to get my boobs done, but I think it's a good thing to ask yourself why you want to get it done. And I actually talked with my therapist about wanting to get my breasts done, or I already was at the stage where I'm like, I'm going to get it done, but talking to her about it and talking through it and making sure I'm doing it for me, it feels authentic to me. I'm not doing it with these expectations that it's going to change certain areas of my life. And I feel 100% sure that this is the right thing to do for me. I'm really excited. I'm like a tad nervous. I've never been under anesthesia or in any kind of surgery, so that part is like just a little nerve-wracking. I'm not like super nervous at the moment, but like maybe the morning of, who knows. But anyway, I think I would just like to share a little bit about why I'm gonna do it, and it comes down to I always wanted boobs. I thought I was gonna get them. My mom would tell me every single day from the time I basically got my period at 11 to 20, where I mean it was less and less as I got out of high school, but she's like, no, like I think they're gonna come like next year for sure. Like you just could be like a little late bloomer there. And basically the boobs I have now are the boobs I've had since, I want to say, like 8th grade, maybe like freshman year. They haven't grown. It was my thought that they would, considering my mom and I have like the same body type, and she had, I think, a D cup like at her biggest, well, without children, but my sister also has boobs. She's heavier set than I am, but she still, you know, had big breasts. And I remember like when hers came in, it was me, my mom, and my sister in the room, and they're like trying on bras for her, and I was like, I can't wait for mine to come in, and they just didn't show. I still felt really confident having a small chest, and I thought it was pretty fitting for my body. I had an athletic build, and the main reason I want a boob job is because it was something I always felt was supposed to happen with my body. And I wouldn't say I like went through life like dwelling like, oh, I don't have boobs. Like that was never the case. I had no issues, you know, getting a guy. I love the Amy Schumer quote where she's like, I'm 160 pounds and I can catch a dick whenever I want. Like, right? Girls have no problem getting a guy, like small chest or not. Like your life is not over, and I'm 30 and I've gone through life and that hasn't been an issue. So, you know, like I said, you should always think of plastic surgery as I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for a man. While I'm sure a boob job is a nice perk for your man to have, I know I'm beautiful without it, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And I've wanted to get my breasts done mostly because I think it'll be a nice addition to my body, which I always really liked. I have an athletic build, and take this with a grain of salt, I suppose, because I don't really know any other way to say it. I never felt masculine, but I never quite felt the most feminine. And I think it was something about like how I carried myself. Like I just like I have a butt, and I've definitely always been pretty athletic and lean, but I think there's just something very feminine and sexy about having cleavage. And I know girls, my friends with boobs, are like, they're overrated, they get in the way, they're uncomfortable, my back hurts, I can't wear certain tops. And the same side could be argued for anything, you know what I mean? Like for me, I've really enjoyed small boobs because I could wear any top I wanted and it not look provocative or too provocative, right? And going braless was great, and sleeping on your stomach, and gravity being a little kinder to small boobs. So mine are still pretty perky. However, I have lived 15 plus years with them since I've got them, and I kind of just like over it. I've done this. Like, I'm ready for this next chapter, more or less. And it was my cousin, who was 5 years younger than me, that honestly inspired me to start looking into doing this, because it was something I said I wanted to do later in life, and then I just never really thought about it again. So when she got hers done, I was like, oh, like, yeah, like, well, I wanted to do that, and what's stopping me now? Like, I could afford it, and while I probably am not getting pregnant anytime soon, it wouldn't be that far away, and why wouldn't I want to enjoy... Okay, great, my camera overheated, so I had to give it a little timeout, but I think I wrapped up basically why I wanted to get my breasts done, and mostly it's for me. It's something I always wanted to do, so I'm doing it. Cool. So let's move on to how I landed on the doctor that is going to be doing my breast augmentation. Well, it started with just Google searches, to be honest with you, and asking around and getting names of surgeons people who I didn't know anyone who got a breast augmentation other than my cousin, but she got hers done in Grand Rapids, so I was like, I'm not going there. And hers turned out great, but I really just started searching around, and I think the criteria I used was finding women in the galleries of the before and after breast augmentations that had similar builds to me, and looked at the after photo, and if it was something I liked, I kind of just bookmarked it and saved it for later and narrowed my search down from there. But one of the recommendations I got was from my esthetician who waxes me, and she had a friend who had gone to I don't know if I should call him out. There's nothing to call out. I just ultimately didn't want to get my breast done with him, but it was Dr. Few out of the Few Institute, and basically what deterred me from going with him was, one, I think this is very important, that if you are getting a cosmetic procedure or plastic surgery, make sure the person who is doing it specializes in that. And I don't want to say that he doesn't, but what I saw from Dr. Few's website, as well as some press he was in, he said himself, I specialize in facial reconstructive surgery. So that was ultimately what deterred me from not choosing him, along with price and insignificant amount of photos of before and afters that he has performed. So we moved on, and I kind of just did the same kind of process of finding before and afters I liked, and then scheduling consultations and finding out quotes of prices, and just really weighing my options there to see what would fit best for me. And where I landed was with Dr. Michael Horn. I really enjoyed the atmosphere in the office. Everyone was really nice. It was very welcoming. The girls there, they're really helpful, because they're literally, oh my god, again, I don't know if I should say this, but maybe it's really normal in plastic surgery culture to just be very open, and they would literally show me their boobs because they got theirs done and be like, here, you can like look at mine, and this is what I looked like before, and kind of just like talk me through. So the people who work there are really great in terms of just like relaying their history of plastic surgery, so you kind of feel more comfortable. So that was really nice. I was comfortable with Dr. Horn. I will say the only thing I found weird was that he didn't ask me for photos, so I had to be the one to show him. I would think that's something like right off the bat a plastic surgeon is like, hey, do you have like an inspo photo, which he didn't ask, but it's okay. I just took the liberty of showing him myself. And my inspo photo was Emily Ratajkowski, as like probably every woman's is. I mean, I don't know if her breasts are fake or not, but they are insane, like so good. And the size I wanted to be ideally from when I first ventured out to this was a full B, and they clocked me in at 285 cc's. So that would put me in a small B. And the photo I saw, I was like, well, it looks bigger than what I am because you see a side-by-side version, but it was, my fear was that I have a lot of space between my boobs, and I didn't want it to look like two just balls sitting there, you know what I mean, and them to be far away. I wanted fullness. I wanted to like fill out this space. I didn't want like a ton of cleavage. I wanted more of a teardrop shape at the end of the day. So we, you know, that was my first appointment seeing the 3D imaging anywhere, and I basically left that appointment. I was like, well, you know, and they have you also like try on the size implant. So I put a 285cc implant into a bra, and then it like, you know, you put a shirt on with it and you see it, and like it definitely, you know, looked bigger than what I am. But when I, you know, took a ton of pictures, that's another thing. When you are doing the 3D scans, when you do have the implants in with your bra, with a shirt on, take a shit ton of photos, take a shit ton of videos, because you're gonna want to look back, and that's really gonna help you like visualize yourself with it. So and show it to people. Like I showed it to my friends and my family, and my mom's first thought was, you need to go bigger. Like that doesn't even look like anything different. And it's basically like the similar response I got from most of my friends was, oh, it looks really natural. And I definitely don't want to look like a bimbo, but I definitely want it, I think, to look like I got my boobs done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be a mistake. Like, oh, is she wearing a pad right? No, she like got her boobs done. Like, that's fine, because that's what I'm doing, you know? But I have heard from a lot of the research I've done, as well as the girls in the office, that most times women regret not going bigger. And it's never, I wish I went smaller. It's, I wish I went bigger. And it's like, well, I'm doing this. I should do it so it's going to make me it's going to fill out my body the best way it possibly could. And I think that's something to ask your doctor, because what I found interesting was they have like a graph basically where they find out the space in between your boobs, the width, the height, all of that. And then they will clock you in with a certain frame of cc's. So I think where mine is like the most my chest could fit, I think, was 375 cc's. And that would have put me maybe at a small D, but for sure a full C. And one thing to note is, you know, from 285 cc's to where I'm clocked in, I believe is 365 cc's. The difference in cc's, it's about a tablespoon. So when you go up a cc, it's literally a tablespoon difference. So it's really not much at all. So it sounds like, you know, oh my God, like what? I just jumped almost 100 cc's. It's really not a difference at all. And they show you like the actual implants like side by side, like the difference, like it literally was nothing. So another thing I think is important to note is when you try on the implant with the bra, you lose about 20% of that volume, because the real implant's behind your muscle. So if you think you look really big or not big enough or just right, just know you're gonna lose about 20% of that after the surgery. So it's kind of ideal to go a size bigger. That was my understanding, more or less, of what's happening. And again, I'm not a plastic surgeon, so I am just relaying back to you like the best I have the understanding of it. But that's what I've learned. And oh, one more thing actually. If you are considering any type of plastic surgery, download the Real Self app. It's really cool. It's not the smoothest app, but if you kind of just like play around with it, you'll get it. And it shows you your procedure. So you pick, so obviously I'm looking at breast augmentations, and it'll show you people's like personal journeys. And it's kind of like a diary for your cosmetic or plastic surgery. And you kind of share your befores, your afters. People get really into it in detail. Like, you know, I experienced this the day before, the morning of, the hours after, the weeks after, and it shows you progress photos. So you have realistic expectations of what your breasts are going to look like right after. And it takes a long time. It takes like 6 months for them to drop into their final place. But you should not be discouraged if they're sitting high right away. They're gonna sit high right away. That's the point. And you wear a bra to make sure they're sitting high so it doesn't sag the skin right sag the skin. And what else? There's a ton of different things. You could experience like oversensitive nipples, you could feel numbness, you can feel like a shooting pain, all things that are very normal and happen. But yeah, there's a lot of things I think that will happen to you along the way, and I think if you have your expectations right, then it won't be such a surprise, especially for your partner too, to let them know like, hey, like these aren't going to look picture perfect right off the bat. It's going to take some time, and don't let anyone make you feel bad about where your boobs are at like a week after, a month after. It takes time for them to drop, and you will, I think, be happy with it. And that's kind of what I saw from the app is, you know, every week they're changing and they get softer, but like right off the bat they're really tender and they don't feel like real boobs, but then they soften up and they move like real boobs. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, I would definitely recommend downloading that app if you are doing anything like that. Any cosmetic procedure, any plastic surgery, look into it. They have every which way. And I think that's everything I wanted to talk about today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or share it with someone who you think might find it useful. And I'm going to come back with a part 2 with things that were personally, for me, I was told to cut out of my diet, add to my diet, things to buy to accommodate post-surgery uncomfortableness, or things to help heal you, all that good stuff. So stick around for part 2 and I will see you then.